Greetings from Jacksonville, Arkansas. Today is Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025, and the time is approximately 5:19 p.m. You guys, I finally got my internet fixed, but it looked like the power light is the only light on there that may be not working. But you guys, I wasn't sure what I wanted to eat. I started to turn this ground beef into chili, and but let me add some water. I'll show you guys what I'm up to. I need to add some more water to the scallop potatoes. It asks for, like, what was it here on the box? I believe it called for a little bit more water or milk than that. Okay, you all, this recipe calls for like 2 tablespoons of butter, also known as zebta in Arabic language, of Egyptian Arabic dialect. And so let me add the oil. Now, I did use evaporated milk and water instead of regular, low-fat milk or whole milk. I mean, you can use that as well, but I like a more richer taste. And let me put in the butter. And so what I'm doing is I am making the Betty Crocker scallop casserole potatoes, and I will be adding some ground beef. I'm not going to use all of that ground beef, but once the potatoes are about tender, I will incorporate the ground beef, which I have, diced up some onions in there and season it lightly with Lawry's seasoning salt. And a little bit of garlic powder. So let me get the butter. And so once I make this, I will be adding a little bit of the light sour cream, Daisy sour cream, to this dish. So I'm going to have scallop potatoes with ground beef with a little bit of sour cream. And I will be also topping it with a little grated cheddar. So I have some butter here. This might be enough. Let me get some margarine too. I like to kind of mix it. So this is Imperial. And again, zebta. That's how you say butter in Arabic. Okay, you all, I did just go ahead and put in a little bit of the 2% milk in there just to kind of give it a little oomph. But it has whole milk, 2%, whole milk plus the evaporated milk. The official name would be like pet milk or carnation. Okay, so I have put in the margarine, just a little pat of margarine, and here's that butter. This is the unsalted. Let's see, it's unsalted butter, zebta. And first, this is just ground beef. I took it from frozen and added a little water and put a lid over it because I needed to go ahead and start cooking. It's better to let it thaw out first. So in Arabic, this would be called mafruna. It's kind of like lakman mafruna, but this is from a cow instead of a lamb. And by the way, since I am doing my foreign language phonetics, this water would be called Maya in Arabic. You say water, Maya. And if you are German, you say Wasser. If you are Hispanic, you say Aqua. Y'all, let's go ahead and get this potatoes, patata, okay? Let's go ahead and get it stirred here. And then I'm going to put the lid on her. Well, at first I missed my flight. Oh, I didn't say that right. I believe it's, well, first I missed my plane. And I wound up on your flight. And we got stuck in Dallas, Fort Worth, past the night. And the only vacancy that you could find at gate 29, right next to mine. Call it luck, destiny, call it faith, you ended up with me. But some things are meant to be. Coincidence, circumstance, or something bigger that's just out of our hands. Oh, some things are meant to be. Y'all excuse me. Y'all, my allergies got me singing something terrible. But anyways, So this is the stovetop direction for the scallop potatoes. It says stir sauce mix, 1½ cups of hot water, 3/4 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter, and potatoes in 2-quart saucepan. Heat just to boiling, stirring occasionally. Watch carefully to avoid, it says, boil over. Reduce heat and cover and simmer for 25 minutes. And then this is the oven direction, which is pretty much going to be the same instructions for preparing. Now, I used to do the scallop potatoes just by slicing some Idaho potatoes instead of doing the packaging. So you guys, at this point I have stirred in the butter. I can add just, let me taste the sauce just a little bit. 1 second. This is hot. I just washed my hands there in the sink. So I'm just going to take my finger and just, oh, that's hot. That is tasty. So obviously it doesn't need any additional seasoning. And the ground beef has been seasoned lightly with a little bit of Noor, you know, the Noor bouillon powder, just a little bit, and some Maurice, and also a little garlic powder, and diced onions. As far as onions, like right here, this onion I did dice it. I'm getting ready to wrap it up with some foil and plastic and place it back into the fridge. But this was the yellow onion. Now in Arabic, in Egyptian Arabic, you would say basal for onion. And for this plastic bag, you would say kees for a bag, plastic bag. You say kees. For milk in Arabic, you say laban. laban. Y'all, I'm just gonna like nigger rig this and just place a lid on her, okay? It may not be the exact lid, but it's a lid. Let's see. How about I just place this loosely on here? So the ideal is just to kind of trap the heat in there, okay? Hey, you all, if you have never tried adding your powdered bouillon flavor to your ground beef when you're like seasoning it the same way you would using like Lawry seasoning or regular seasoning salt, I highly recommend that, like, if you're, whatever you're using, if you're dicing up your ground beef to make like a stroganoff or a hamburger helper, or whatever you're doing, just use a little bit of beef bouillon as if you were seasoning it lightly with seasoning salt, and y'all, it's a game changer. So, and this newer beef bouillon. Now, I have this cumin and black pepper here, and I would like, while the potatoes, scallop potatoes, the Betty Crocker scallop potatoes are finishing up, before I get ready to add the ground beef, to the potatoes, I would like to add a little ground cumin to the ground beef. Not a lot, but enough to help enhance the flavor, so that it would be more like a real meal, you know. Give it some authentic flavors there. And then here I have black pepper. And I will be throwing some of that over the ground beef as well. That should do it. So you guys, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add the ground beef. Where did I put the... So right here, before it even stirred that. Wow, barely even touched it. A little bit of ground beef got on the counter here. So I guess I didn't want to be a part of this party. And yes, the countertop is clean to some level. So, I mean, for the most part. So let's go ahead and put in some ground beef. Of course, I have a bigger spoon over there. Let's put this in right there. Just want to continue to, you know, add as much as you like. I'll probably end up putting some of this in the freezer, and I'll use it for another dish, a separate dish. Maybe I'll make myself some tacos with it, or chili, because, you know, I want meat in it, but I don't want it over meaty, if that makes any sense. So I want the essence of ground beef without ground beef over drowning the taste of the potatoes. I saw a little pink there on that piece, because remember I told you guys that I made it from frozen. So, but that part is brown. See? That little piece right there, so I'm not going to use that. But, you know, I could use it because it will cook in this. This is hot enough. It's not going to hurt anything. So you want to go ahead and start stirring that. So if you guys would give this dish a try, where you make your scallop potatoes, but you kick it up a notch and you add ground beef to it, and you know, customize your seasonings, and go in with a little bit of diced onions there to help seasoning up your ground beef. And I recommend if you're going to do the onions, after you have browned your ground beef a little bit, you separate the ground beef and put the onions in a small amount of cooking oil and begin browning it in just a tiny amount of cooking oil to release the flavors of the onions. And just when you start seeing the onion turn slightly brown but not quite, then you incorporate your ground beef back into the onions. So that's what I recommend. So here in a minute, I'll be grabbing my grated cheese out the fridge. I don't know why I didn't grab it with the sour cream, but it doesn't take cheese long to melt. Let's see if this is going to be enough ground beef for me. Stranger and I feel so rough. Who knows? Maybe I may put in more. Let's see. Also, I would like to add a little bit of minced garlic at this point. I did add a little bit to the ground beef, but let me put some of that in here. Oh, you know what? Instead of doing the minced garlic, since I may still have some in there from the ground beef, I will just do a little bit of the garlic powder instead. I think that's going to be a better suggestion here. So I can see that little white there? That's a minced garlic in the ground beef. So, well, how about a little bit of garlic powder to kick it up a notch? This is the powder, not salt. And so, you can adjust your seasonings as you go along. At this point, it doesn't really need it, but I'm going to put a very light amount of Lawry seasoning salt in the overall dish. At this point, it's about done. So I'm just putting in just a little bit of Lawry's just to enhance the flavor, to assure that every layer of this dish is seasoned very well. I am going to add a little herb. This is basil. This ingredient is optional. Put a little greenery in there. And basil is really good for spiritual protection as well, and warding off evil. Hey you guys, I'm getting ready to wrap this video up. At this point, our scallop potatoes blended with ground beef is done. I don't have a cameraman or a tripod yet, and I am just going to see, this is definitely enough ground beef for me. I still have a little bit over there, and so I just set the rest aside. And so at this point, you guys, I'm going to taste it before I add it. Well, actually, I don't have to taste it. It should be perfect at this point. So, you see this? It looks good. You can eat it like that, but I'm not done yet. And so, I'm going to go in with a little bit of light sour cream and some mild cheddar cheese. So I just want to recap that today is Wednesday, April the 9th, 2005 here in the state of Arkansas. So let's see if I can get this sour cream open. This is the light sour cream. It doesn't have to be light. You can use regular. I use them both. Sometimes I like how delicious the light sour cream is on a baked potato. So let's see if I can get this open. Well, that's sealed really well. There we go. And then let me just kind of give it a stir. Just kind of move it around a little bit. You know, I always have like a little liquid, just a little bit on the top. But yeah, all this stuff is scald. Smells a lot like cottage cheese. I miss having cottage cheese with fresh bread. Need to get some more of that. Large curd cottage cheese is really good with toast. Buttered toast. Let's see if I can kind of get that little lump out of there. So you guys, right now, so I'm going in with some of the sour cream. It's kind of similar to like a stroganoff, but this is all I'm going to use for the entire dish. So I just want to like enhance the flavor without it overpowering it. You know, some people may put more than this. Believe me, this is more than enough sour cream. You don't have to overpower it. And if someone is requesting more sour cream, which they shouldn't, just set it to the side. Don't put it all over in the entire dish. So you see how much I used. And last but not least, you guys, let's go in with a little bit of mild cheddar. And as I stated before, this dish almost became chili. And I told the technician that I believe I was making some chili, and that if, you know, I would have fixed him a plate. But yeah, you know, the thing is that I was just starting out with this, cooking this food. But no, it's not going to be chili. I believe that I will enjoy this a whole lot more. So this is mild cheddar cheese, and I'm going to go in and get a little bit more of that in here. I'm so glad that the power outage is like done with for the most part, and that I just finally got my internet fixed, my high speed Wi-Fi fixed. And I'm just wondering why the power light. Here, I'll just show you guys. You see? If I'm not mistaken, that power light used to be on. And it's not the power light. I'm sorry. I don't have all my readers. So the power light is on. It's the phone light that's not on. So maybe that is correct. But I thought all of them were supposed to be lit up. But I know the phone is working too. Like a land phone that is connected with this. But anyways, you guys, I just was wondering why that one light wasn't lit up. But yeah, everything is working. I've got my internet going now. They didn't have to replace anything, except I think that did a little work on that. Y'all, this weather will be up and down here, like seriously. You all, I thank you guys for watching. At this point, the food is ready. I try this dish. Some of you all may be already familiar with it. If you got Idaho potatoes, you can peel them and make it, you know, it's really a good brand of scallop. And also the Idaho brand is a good brand of scallop potatoes as well. But you can use any brand to make this dish of scallop, using scallop potatoes. Y'all, this is going to be absolutely delicious. As you can see, the cheddar cheese has melted. Let's see if I can find something to drink. So I have Pepsi Cola. Now, I do admit that I might like Coca-Cola or the Sam's Cola a little bit better. Pepsi Cola goes flat. It's good, but it goes flat really quick. It loses its fizz. The Cherry Cola or Cherry Pepsi has more acid life in it, or fizz life, than the regular Pepsi, but it's still good. And then here I have Fanta Orange. This usually is always good as long as it's fresh and has lots of fizz and acid. And of course I have some lemonade. This is the Kool-Aid. So basically it's just this Kool-Aid lemonade, like literally. And if you can buy like a whole lemon, let me get my hand out the camera. So anyways, if you can buy like a lemon and squeeze your lemons, that's also good too. So what I like to do is take this lemonade, Kool-Aid brand, and blend. If I used to have some lemons. I don't have any at this moment, but I recommend that if you hadn't tried it, that you cut up some lemons and just kind of squeeze a little bit in there, y'all. You won't know the difference. It tastes really, really good if you do it this way. Like, make your lemonade. This is good. But if you put real lemon or lemonade, like lime, in there, it tastes like the real deal, like literally. Now, for bread, you can eat your bread of your choice. I have some garlic bread in the freezer, but I don't think I'll be doing that. I might make like a batch of like other breads from yeast, you know, with flour. I may make up like a flat bread on top of the stove. I just wanted to insert this clip real quick. You know, I talked about the breads that would be good with this dish. Of course, you can choose to eat it without bread. It's been a while since I made some delicious yeast rolls. So I have here some all-purpose flour and I have yeast. And by the way, since I'm doing my practice, it's not really practice, but my phonetics on my foreign language today, I just wanted to say that bread in Arabic and Egyptian Arabic is Aish. Now, if you're speaking a different dialect of Arabic, and let's say if you are in Morocco, Africa, you would say khubz, khubz for bread. But in Egypt, you say Aish. Like when I lived in Egypt with my children, my sons, my daughter wasn't with me, I used to buy the Baladi Aish, and it was quite It was so delicious. The Baladi bread is like a flat bread, and it goes with anything. I used to make cabbage, and you go to the market. I would greet them, of course. I'm not practicing a Muslim faith at this moment, but you know, for those who've been to Egypt, you know that it is predominantly Muslim, and that they have a small percentage of Coptic Christians. So I would greet them proper way, you know, that's like Assalamu alaikum, and then they would say alaikum salam, and then they would say izayik, and then I would say alhamdulillah. And so anyways, I would tell them, they would ask me what did I want, and I would say Anna Iwas was Talata Baladi Aish. Love the baladi bread and the kofta. So that's another thing, to eat the baladi bread, you know, in a beef kofta. That was so delicious, and I would get it with tahinna, you know, the tahinna sauce and baladi breads and the kofta, the beef kofta, absolutely delicious. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. That's all. I thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to insert this clip. That to say bread, you say Aish in Arabic, but if you're in Morocco, it's corpse. With that note, I'm out.